Okay guys, so up next in my Pop of Color, how to start wearing color in your makeup life series, not sure what I'm calling it, I wanted to talk about incorporating color onto your cheeks, all right? So typically blush colors are going to be colors that we would naturally flush, okay? Colors that we would naturally blush, colors that would be naturally occurring, if that makes sense, right? So those are not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about highlights, okay? In the last few years, colorful highlights have been everywhere, in my opinion. They've been everywhere, and I have a fair amount of them, okay? The key to wearing colorful highlights is keeping everything else on the cheek pretty neutral-ish, right? So not your face, because you can do a crazy eye, crazy lip, and a colorful highlight. Looks good. But on the cheek itself, you wouldn't want to have a competing color highlight with your blush, with your blush really, right? So you wouldn't want to have a highlight that is a heavy orange blush, right? Especially for dark skinned girls or girls that are my complexion. You wouldn't want to do a super heavy orange blush and then go with a green highlight or a blue highlight. It's going to kind of conflict, you know? Well, maybe not a blue because those are complementary, but a green. You know what I'm saying? So you want to kind of keep the blush more of that flush, right? So I'm wearing an orange blush today. Can't really see it. You can see my bronzer, my contour. Can't really see too much blush. If I was to go in a bit heavier, then you could see it, right? But I knew that I wanted to do this video today, right? Okay. So wearing a colorful highlight, okay? Let me pull some colorful highlights, okay? Okay, so when I'm talking about colorful highlights, I'm not talking about anything in the gold family. I'm not even talking about anything in the peach family. I'm talking about pinks, purples, greens, blues, those kind of colors. Unicorn, mermaid type highlights, right? Those were the craze, you know, last year, 2 years ago when everyone was coming out with these colorful highlight palettes, right? So those are what I'm talking about. I'm also these highlights tend to be the ones that more often than not are going to be a little bit more glittery. Of course, there are levels to highlights, right? There are levels to highlights, right? You can go with ones that are very kind of smooth, very kind of just the wet look, or you can go with ones that are glittery. I like glittery highlights, not everybody does, right? So the easiest color I feel to start wearing as a quote-unquote colorful highlight is going to be pink, because pink is a blush shade or a level of a blush shade. So it's going to be easier to start incorporating a pink highlight than it would be a green highlight, okay? So the couple of the pink highlights that I have here are going to be, can I get it out? Cutie Pie by Colored Rain. Ignore how it looks. So that's what that looks like. That's what that looks like. I have Chaos by JD Glow. Now this has a duochrome to it, and duochromes are a good way to get into colorful highlights also, because it will it'll give you that gold shifting into pink also. So that's Chaos, and this one is a more glittery highlight. You see it has a lot more sparkle to it. And then this one is called, what is this? Happy Land by Lime Crime. This might be more purple. So that's Happy Land by Lime Crime. And then this one is Unicorn by Anastasia Beverly Hills from their Dream palette. Right? So pinks are going to be the easiest color to get on your highlight as a quote unquote color because it's pink. It's something that, you know, most of us have a pink blush or a pinkish blush that we can use, or a level of pink blush that we can use. And that's just going to add just a little bit more shine on our cheekbones, right? Then we get into the fun, okay? So when we get into your blues, your greens, blues, greens, do I have any other colors? Purples. Blues, greens, purples. I personally think that they should go with the feel of your look. So for instance, if I'm wearing a green eye, I'm more than likely going to include a green highlight, if that makes sense. I wouldn't wear something on the total opposite spectrum of the color wheel and put that color and put an opposite color on as my highlight. I want everything to kind of flow. I personally am a very kind of monochromatic person. I'm a person that, you know, likes everything to flow. So if I'm doing something blue or purple, you know, more than likely I'm going to work in a blue or purple highlight because, you know, purple, red and blue make purple. So blue is a good match. You get it? Right. So that's my philosophy as when it comes to highlight, right? I have two highlighting brushes that I love. The first is the tapered highlighter brush from Sigma. And then the second one is the Smith 112. This one's a bit more fluffy. This is what I like to use for glittery highlights. And then of course I do have a fan brush. This to me is something that I would more than likely just dab, put on, and then I'll probably take this and buff out, right? So I'm going to put on, let's do a purple highlight because I'm going to change this lip. So I'm going to go in with Lavender Dreams from Color Grain. So that's Lavender Dreams. And let me show you how I would use it. So this isn't glittery at all. So we know highlight goes on the top of our cheekbones. My top of my cheekbone is right there. Make sure I can see what I'm doing in the mirror. And I would literally just pat it right there. Right, y'all see it? And then I would come in with my buffing brush and just buff it in. Okay. If I wanted to get a bit more kind of bling to it, I would go in with a more a glittery highlight. A glittery highlight. I'm gonna go in, let me see if Dreams has one. So I'm gonna go in with Erythral, this color here from the ABH Anastasia Beverly Hills Dream Palette. And I'm taking it directly on this brush. I'm just gonna buff it in. And you can see even with it just, this is the only color I have on my face. And it's not standing out too much, right? Let me go ahead and do the other cheek. And the key to wearing glittery highlighters, I hope y'all can see what I'm doing. I might have to zoom in a little. The key to wearing glittery highlighters is this type of brush, a brush that has more of a dome to it, a bit of fluff to it, and going in and just really buffing it in. And y'all see, oh, excuse me, highlight, goddamn. So I took that up too high, but like I would usually stop it about right there, right? So that side isn't as blinding. Let's get it up there to match, right? And so there we go. I see it, but I hope it's translating on screen. So highlights are not something you typically see when you're face on. I'm not one of those people that brings my highlight all the way here. To each their own. It's just not for me. But when you turn to the side, when the light hits you just right, you can say, oh, she got a purple highlight. Oh, okay, girl, I see you, or whatever. So when you're getting started on wearing colorful highlights, pink is the easiest thing to wear. It's going to be the easiest thing to wear for most people, just because it's so close to blush colors that it's just going to look like a topper. Really, it's just going to look like a topper. So once you get comfortable wearing pinks, you can kind of, play with colors that match whatever color scheme that you're doing for your look. If you're wearing a purple lip, wear, a purple highlight and see how that kind of goes or whatever. So hope this helps someone. Hope this kind of, got you thinking, maybe I can try this, that. And as far as the brands that I mentioned, for those of you that are my complexion or deeper, these are going to be ones that would work for your skin. Not too frosty at all. And I do believe in my Ace Butte video, look 3, I'll link the video, look 3, where I did that kind of purple blue look. The highlight that I used was a blue highlight, so you can see what that looks like also in that video. So all right guys, hope you enjoyed. Make sure you follow me on all my social medias, Ashley Christina on Facebook and Instagram, and also Makeup Matters for Women of Color on Instagram. And yeah, any comments, questions, anything like that, leave it in the comment area. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.